All right, welcome back to the vlog and welcome here to Andakombe yet again. My name is Ryan. We're heading back to Goroka, but we're going to stop by, or at least swing by, a place called Guinea for one of my patrons. He actually grew up here in this country when he was a kid. So, Mark, this is for you. We're going to just swing by and see what it looks like. It's right on the way. All right, igniter's on, fuel pump on. Low start. For 14%, we'll introduce the fuel. Engines coming up nicely, ITT's coming up as normal. I've been here for probably 45 minutes at least. Loading up some coffee. And that's something else I want to talk to you guys about today is how much do coffee farmers here in Papua New Guinea make, and is it a lucrative business or not? All stations Andakombe. Kodiak November Tango Zulu will be taxiing Andakombe for Goroka. Be on climb at above 8,000. Let's taxi to the top. I'm on the side of a hill. I don't want all my fuel to be drained into my other tank. So as you can see, the grass is not cut very well here, and I had to reduce their loading again. They're all upset that I didn't give them all their kgs allowance, but you know what? I told them, hey, well, we can take it all, but you and I will end up down there in the forest, so I think I'm going to take off a little bit more off to the right this time, because last time it was very draggy off even just center line. All right, fuel caps and selectors are controls I just did. Turn TAWs off. Let's get our radar going for takeoff. My flaps are set, indicated and verified at 20. Got our switches all set up. Actually, no, I don't have that. We're at 6,300. I thought I just set that up. 59 and 69. So 59 for rotate, and 69 if we have to come back in. I'm going to abort. I'm going to be, let's see, I got to rotate at 59. I'm going to be at least 30. I just be hit 30 knots. I have longer grass. I'll be hitting 30 knots by the beginning of the parking bay. Otherwise, we'll stop on the runway. After takeoff, we'll pitch for 85 knots. Consider EPL, which is emergency power lever, fuel override for a fuel control unit. And feather, left-hand turn to lower terrain. Pull off and shut off. Emergencies, masters. Flaps 80. Ignition, all my lights. Moresby 6622 November Tango Zulu taxi. November Tango Zulu Moresby, standby 1. We'll get him later. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses, 3,400, 24 degrees. 1,400 for 1,450. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses, 1,400, rotate 59. The nose up and out. There's 30 continuing. There is, watch out birds, lots of birds. I'm out at 73 knots initially. A 1 knot of tailwind, and I can actually feel it. Just 1 knot. Alright, well, we've got lots of little low cloud. I'm just going to go around this mountain here rather than going up the valley. Actually was going to land at Sindini earlier, and the winds were just way too strong. I had like a, I don't know, 15 knot crosswind, and it was just too much for landing into a mountain airstrip like that. Yeah. Mosky on that one today. We'll try it another day. Not worth it for 50 kgs. Right over 85, we'll go 10 degrees of flaps. Over 90 and climbing, we'll go 0, bring our pop to 2,000. We'll just head around this corner right here, and it should clear up over the clouds coming in here. It was just full-on overcast over the low area out here. All the swamps and stuff, but it should be a nice flight back. I wanted to talk to you guys about coffee because I actually have got, I don't know, like 500 kgs of coffee on board with me today. And I wanted to talk, I'm sure there's a bunch of you that are probably wondering, like, I wonder, like, if the coffee farmers, how they make, how much money they make, the process that they do to get it into the bags that I'm now flying out. And is it cooked or is it raw or anything like that? So, anyways, the whole process for these guys to do it, I'll tell you that first, and then I'll tell you how much they make, so you have an idea of how much work is involved into doing this. But on average, the bags that I'm carrying are around 50 kgs a piece, which is 110 pounds. And inside those bags is just raw, like dried beans. They're not cooked or anything like that. It's just dried out beans. But to get a bag of 50 kgs, you actually have to pick 4 bags of like just the berries. I think it's called a berry, I don't actually know. Anyways, 4 bags to get 1 dried bag. So on a good day, one person could probably pick, maybe, I was asking around, 1, maybe 2 days for one person to pick that many beans or berries or whatever they're called. You can correct me down below, I don't care. Then what they're gonna have to do after that is they have to get like, basically, it's like, think of it like a grape, okay? They've got the seed inside, the coffee bean, and then kind of like a soft shell on the outside that they need to get rid of. They have this machine that they put it in and they grind it all out and it gets rid of all of, like, I don't even know the correct terminology, basically all the skin off of it. And once they do that, then they put all of that into a bag, let it sit one night, and then the next day they take it all back out and they soak it and all of the skins come floating to the top. They call them floaters. They scrape all that off. Now they're just left with the bean. And after that, they've got to dry it for 3 days. So they, I mean, you know, you've got like, every morning you've got dew in the ground. So they put plastic out, they dump all these beans out onto the tarp, let it sit in the sun, and then repack it all up. Do that for 3 days, and then it's ready for me to fly it out. So it's a big process to get 1 bag. Let's see, that'd be like 1, 2, 3, probably 4 or 5, probably 5 days worth of work. And it's drying, obviously not the full days, but anyways, let me make my departure call and then we'll get into how much they actually make. Moresby 6622, November Tango Zulu departure.
November Tango Zulu Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Zulu departed Endicombe 2 POB at time on the hour. Tracking 10 miles left of track 336. Below amended 8,000. Estimating Goroka 28.
Tango Zulu Moresby, copy departure. Total of 8,000 amended. 10 left of track, northbound track.
November Tango Zulu. Right, so I figured out the math earlier this morning on how much they make. So 1 bag of the big thing will basically, when it's taken to us, like if you were to buy something in the store, you could get 100 bags out of a 50 kg bag, because they're usually like 500 grams for a bag of coffee, at least here in Papua New Guinea. So they're going to sell that big bag for $1.68 per kg. So you're making, oh, and then they have to pay the plane to fly their coffee into Goroka. So it's $1.68 is what they sell it per kg in Goroka, but they also pay me 68 cents per kg. So they're making $1 profit per kg. So they make $50 per bag, and it just worked out perfect math to make it really easy, but this is the reality. This is actually what it was from Sindini, their price. So they're basically making $50 per bag of coffee for like 5 days worth of work, okay? So if you divide that up, you get 100 bags out of one of those bags. They're basically making 50 cents per bag of coffee. So if you were to go buy a bag of coffee at, you know, Walmart or wherever else, they're making 50 cents off each one of those. So yeah, you're definitely not going to get rich off of it unless you have a massive garden and you've got workers, but then you're paying your workers. So it is a ton of work for coffee to get it all the way back to the States. Someday I'll make a video on my Patreon page, the whole process of like them cooking the coffee, and they have like tons of coffee companies in Goroka. So one of these days I'll walk you through that so you guys can see the whole process, because yeah, it's a pretty cool process and they're more than willing to give me a tour. Alright, this is Guinea. I don't know if it's open anymore. I actually went in here when I was a kid, when I was like 8 or 9 years old. I went in for Christmas break. We lived here when I was a kid. Went in here because there were some missionaries way back when. We stayed out here for a couple of weeks, had a great time. But anyways, like I was saying, one of my patrons actually grew up here. His parents were missionaries here many years ago, and he actually spent some time out here in Guinea as well. So the circuit is at basically 5,200 feet. So 3% slope, 500 meters long. Pop over this mountain ahead of me with these clouds, and then I'm guessing that it'll kind of open up because it should be a little bit bigger of a valley. Looks like we might have to go up to 8,000 to get up over top of this cloud right here. Also bring up the terrain map. Looks like I will clear the mountains, just a matter of clearing the clouds now. It's cleared up on the other side, which is nice. We'll head on down like 6,200 feet or something like that. Close to, actually now we'll go a little bit lower just so we can see the airstrip, because these cameras just kind of throw the whole depth perception off. Sometimes it looks like I'm closer or further away than what I actually am. We'll go down to basically 500 feet, just drag the airstrip on going down it. Now I haven't been out here in like 32 years or 31 years, so I'm kind of excited about seeing it too. If you guys want to try this exact same flight on Microsoft Flight Sim, X-Plane or something like that, I'll leave the details for this so that you guys can actually go fly by Guinea yourself. Fly out of Andercombe. I know it's on X-Plane 11. I'm pretty sure it's on the other one like as well. But anyways, I've got so many of these flights, and some of the airstrips that aren't on there, I also have those available for you on my Patreon page, so you guys can download them and then just recreate a lot of these cool flights. I also do like on-the-ground content. I've done one out of Andercombe where I walked around their school. We talked to the headmaster out there, got a little info about their school and some of their needs and building process that they're doing right now with it. And anyways, if you guys like that kind of extra content, I've got a lot of those videos on there as well. When I was a kid and we landed out here, the airstrip was like a 45-minute walk from where we actually stayed at. I don't remember exactly. I remember it was in that direction. We walked a long way. We had to cross some tiny little river with a log bridge with a couple like wires and stuff, and it was slippery, super scary as a kid. It's like raging water underneath, but I'm sure it probably wasn't that far of a hike. It's probably like a mile or mile and a half. Oh, 5 miles out, I still don't even see it. Oh, if I remember correctly, I remember it went like this, and there was kind of a sort of a hill on this side. Again, this was like 30 years ago, so my memory might be wrong. Oh, there it is. It's right below me. Yeah, like I said, there was a hill on that side. And now, just now seeing it, I was like, what the heck? Yeah, there we go. Let me do a quick 360 and we'll fly up it. Prop forward, 20 degrees or 10 degrees of flaps. That'll just help us slow on down. We'll do a 20 degrees. We'll just climb out. Get up the valley. Should be able to climb out that just easy. Cool. I'm actually enjoying this. Like I said, I haven't been out here. And this river down below that we're going to be flying over, that's the river that we had to walk across. There you go, Mark. There's your old airstrip. Alright, 720 on the ITT. Getting our flaps back out. Bring our pop back to 2,000. Alright, well, let's see if we can't climb over top of that ridge right in front of me. And we'll have to drop right down on the other side of it. Just cut right through those two clouds right there. And then we can start dropping right back on down into the Groca Valley. All right, just 20 miles to run Goroka. This is Mount Michael right over here on my left. I think it's like the second tallest, or maybe not the second. It's a pretty tall mountain. It's like 12,000 plus, 12,600 or something. It's one of the taller mountains here in PNG. Goroka Tower, good morning again. November Tango Zulu, 16 miles to the south. Your circuit time 30.
November Tango Zulu, Goroka Tower, morning again, Ryan. Just confirm your level.
Passing 8,500 under 10.
November Tango Zulu, Roger. Runway 35 right. Wind light and variable, QNH 1019. Track for straight approach, report final.
Track report final, 35 right. November Tango Zulu. And sorry, say again, QNH please.
QNH 1019.
1019, thank you. You guys like these sunglasses? I've got these ones in gold and silver as well. They've got glass lenses. They've done me very well. I have no scratches on them, and I've been using them for quite a while, almost a year now. So I'm really impressed with the quality of them. I also have polarized, like kind of the classic aviators on my website as well. And I do worldwide shipping for everything. I also sell this. If you guys are flight simmers or if you're a pilot, I've got a turbine piston. And I have a backlit one coming soon. So also worldwide shipping on these kinds of things as well. These things are awesome for single pilot operations. Really allows you to free up how would you do it? Reduce your workloads. You're not looking at a piece of paper trying to figure out exactly where you are. You're not losing your place on it. This just allows you to click through them. I have a video on my website explaining everything if you're really wanting more details on it. But basically, up is for takeoff, down is for landing, and it covers all of your critical items that you need to be covering for takeoff and landing. All right, well, let's go ahead and line up, be a little bit more center line. This is the Asaro South Gap, one of my absolute favorite valleys to fly through. It's got waterfalls everywhere, and it's just gorgeous. Let's reduce our power, just 10 miles out now. We've got another 3,000 feet to go. Our fuel selectors are good, our TAWs, we can turn back on our VREF, which is our landing speed. 62, so 68 knots. We have our lights, our inlets. Need to go around, just power up, 20 degrees of flaps, pitch for 73 knots. Reset our ITT to 740. Our prop, we've got our harness, we've got that done. So yeah, the ones that are for piston are obviously going to be different. And I have other ones where you can replace the faceplate. Those are coming as well. So if you are a flight simmer and you want to use it for different multiple airplanes, or you're in like, you know, whatever. And also have coming so that it'll be like more for like a complex piston as opposed to like, you know, a 172. So some of the items are going to be different, obviously. If you're a flight school and you want to start getting some of these things for your flight school, send me an email. I'll hook you up because I would really like to get these things to flight schools. Goroka Tower, November Tango Zulu, 5 mile final, 35 right.
November Tango Zulu, 35 right, clear to land.
Clear land, 35 right, November Tango Zulu. Sometimes if your workload is really high and you kind of forget, did I get landing clearance or not? You can quickly look. I have done this multiple times. Yeah, he did give me landing clearance, that's for sure. But 20 degrees of flaps. Push the nose over as the nose wants to jump up when you put flaps in. Full flaps, checklist is complete.
500.
Let's start slowing on down to 68 knots. Alright, bounce me around a little bit. 3 knots of tailwind, which is pretty typical for Goroka. A lot harder to get your speed locked in here in Goroka, that's for sure. Alright, no birds, we're continuing. You guys see all these buildings off here to the right? Those are all coffee factories here in Goroka. So, like I said, we've got a lot of them. I hope you enjoyed the flyby at Guinea today. Give it a thumbs up if you did, as well as a little information on the coffee farmers here in Papua New Guinea. And someday when I head back to the States, I'll bring some coffee back and put it on my website for you guys to give it a try. Like next year. I think I've told you guys this before, but next year, June, heading back to the States for a year to do helicopter training, and that's when I'll bring some coffee back for you. I've had a lot of requests. Well, thanks for joining me on that half-hour flight. Welcome here to Goroka. Be sure to subscribe if you aren't already. Got videos out a couple times a week. Leave a comment down below, give it a thumbs up, sure does help my channel grow, and feel free to share this video with anybody you want. Doesn't matter to me. It only helps my channel grow, so thanks for coming along, and see you next time.